Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn listening English with a story, The Squirrel and the Lost Bird. In a big old park lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was a happy and playful squirrel. He loved to run up and down trees, collect nuts, and chat with his friends. One sunny morning, Sammy was busy burying nuts near a big oak tree. Suddenly he heard a soft, sad sound. Chirp, chirp. Sammy stopped digging and listened carefully. Chirp, chirp. The sound was coming from the bushes nearby. Sammy was curious. He hopped over to the bushes and peeked inside. He saw a little bird sitting on the ground. The bird was very small and fluffy with bright yellow feathers, but it looked sad and scared. One of its wings was bent in a funny way. "Hello?" Sammy said gently. "Are you okay?" The little bird looked up at Sammy with big, teary eyes. "Chirp, chirp," it chirped sadly. "What's wrong?" Sammy asked. "Are you hurt?" The little bird chirped again and pointed its beak at its bent wing. Sammy understood. The bird's wing was hurt. "Oh, I see," Sammy said. "Your wing is hurt. How did that happen?" The little bird chirped sadly and shook its head. It seemed like it didn't know how it got hurt. Maybe it had fallen from a tree. "Don't worry," Sammy said kindly. "I will help you." Sammy had never helped a bird before. He was a squirrel, and the bird was a bird. But Sammy knew it was important to help someone in need, even if they were different. "Can you fly?" Sammy asked the little bird. The bird tried to flap its wings, but it couldn't fly. It just hopped a little bit on the ground. "Chirp, chirp," it chirped sadly again. "No, you can't fly," Sammy said. "You are lost and hurt. You need help." Sammy thought for a moment. He knew a wise old owl lived in the park. The owl was very kind and knew a lot about helping animals. "I know who can help us," Sammy said. "We need to go see Professor Hoot the owl. He is very wise and he knows everything about birds." The little bird looked at Sammy, confused. "Hoot?" it chirped. "Yes, Professor Hoot," Sammy said. "He is an owl. He lives in the tallest tree in the park. He can help your wing." But I can't fly," the little bird chirped sadly. "How can we go to the tall tree?" "Don't worry, I will help you," Sammy said. "I will carry you." Sammy carefully picked up the little bird in his paws. He was very gentle. The bird was very light and soft. Sammy held the bird close to his chest and started to walk towards the tallest tree in the park. It was a long walk to the tallest tree. Sammy was a squirrel, so he was good at climbing trees, but walking on the ground with a bird in his paws was a little bit slow and tiring. But Sammy didn't give up. He knew he had to help the little bird. As they walked, Sammy talked to the little bird to keep it company. "What's your name?" Sammy asked. "Pip," the little bird chirped softly. "My name is Pip." "Nice to meet you, Pip," Sammy said. "I'm Sammy the squirrel. We are going to see Professor Hoot. He will make your wing better," Pip chirped weakly. It was still scared and sad, but it felt a little bit better knowing that Sammy was helping. Finally, they reached the tallest tree in the park. It was a very, very tall oak tree. Professor Hoot lived at the very top of the tree. "Wow, it's tall," Pip chirped, looking up at the tree. "Don't worry, I can climb it easily," Sammy said. "Hold on tight." Sammy started to climb the tall tree. He was very good at climbing. He quickly went up and up, carrying Pip carefully in his paws. It took a little while to climb all the way to the top, but Sammy was strong and determined. He kept climbing until they reached Professor Hoot's home in a hollow part of the tree. Professor Hoot was sitting on a branch, reading a book. He was a big, wise-looking owl with round glasses. He looked up when he saw Sammy and Pip. "Well, hello, Sammy," Professor Hoot said kindly. "And who is this little friend you have with you?" "Hello, Professor Hoot," Sammy said. "This is Pip. He is a little bird and he is hurt. His wing is bent and he can't fly. We need your help." Professor Hoot looked at Pip carefully. He hopped closer and gently examined Pip's wing with his beak. Yes, I see," Professor Hoot said wisely. "Poor little Pip, it seems your wing is sprained. But don't worry, it can be fixed." Professor Hoot told Sammy and Pip to come into his hollow tree home. Inside, it was cozy and warm. Professor Hoot had lots of books and herbs and things for helping animals. Professor Hoot carefully cleaned Pip's wing with a soft cloth and some special herbs. Then he used a small, soft leaf to make a kind of bandage for Pip's wing. He was very gentle and careful. "There we go," Professor Hoot said after he finished. "This should help your wing heal. You need to rest and not fly for a few days." Sammy, can you help Pip stay safe and bring him food for a while? Yes, of course, Professor Hoot, Sammy said happily. I will take care of Pip. Thank you, Sammy, Professor Hoot said. You are a very kind squirrel, and Pip, you are lucky to have such a good friend. Pip chirped gratefully to Sammy and Professor Hoot. It felt much better already, just knowing that someone was helping. Sammy and Pip stayed with Professor Hoot for a little while longer. Professor Hoot gave Pip some birdseed and water. Sammy shared some of his nuts with Pip. They all chatted and became friends. Then, Sammy carefully carried Pip back down the tall tree. He took Pip to his own cozy home in a smaller tree. Sammy made a soft nest for Pip out of leaves and moss. He brought Pip berries and seeds to eat. He stayed with Pip and kept him company. For the next few days, Sammy took care of Pip. He brought Pip food and water every day. He told Pip funny stories and kept him safe from any danger. Pip rested his wing and started to feel better and stronger. After a few days, Professor Hoot came to visit Sammy and Pip. He checked Pip's wing again. Well, look at you, Pip, Professor Hoot said, smiling. Your wing is healing very nicely. Try to flap it gently. Pip gently flapped his wings. This time it didn't hurt. He flapped his wings a little harder and then a little harder. And then suddenly, Pip was flying. He flew around Sammy's tree, chirping happily. I can fly, Pip chirped excitedly. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Professor Hoot. Sammy cheered and clapped his paws. He was so happy that Pip was better and could fly again. You did it, Pip, Sammy said. I knew you could. Pip flew down and landed on Sammy's head. Thank you, Sammy, Pip chirped gratefully. You are the best friend a bird could ask for. You helped me when I was lost and hurt. I will never forget your kindness. You're welcome, Pip, Sammy said, smiling. I'm just happy to help. We are friends now, and friends always help each other. From that day on, Sammy the squirrel and Pip the little bird became the best of friends. They played together in the park every day. Sammy would climb trees and Pip would fly around him. They would share nuts and berries and have many happy adventures together. And they always remembered the lesson they learned. Friendship means helping each other. And even a small squirrel and a little bird can make a big difference when they work together and are kind to each other. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. Thank you. Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn listening English with a story. The Little Gardener. Once in a small house with a big garden lived a little boy named Leo. Leo loved to play games and have fun, but he didn't really like doing chores or taking care of things. One sunny spring day, Leo's grandpa came to visit. Grandpa was a wise old man who loved gardening. He had a big garden at his own house, full of flowers and vegetables. Hello, Leo, Grandpa said, smiling. How are you, my boy? I'm good, Grandpa, Leo said, but he didn't sound very excited. He was playing a video game and didn't want to stop. Grandpa looked at Leo's game and then looked out at the big garden. Leo, Grandpa said, I have an idea. How about we start a little garden just for you in our backyard? Leo stopped playing his game and looked at Grandpa. A garden? For me? He asked. He had never had his own garden before. Yes, Grandpa said. A small garden, just for you to take care of. You can grow flowers or vegetables, whatever you like. Leo thought about it. A garden sounded like a lot of work. He wasn't sure if he wanted to do it, but Grandpa looked so happy and excited about the idea. Okay, Leo said slowly. Maybe. What do I need to do? First, we need to choose a good spot for your garden, Grandpa said. They went outside to the backyard and looked around. They found a sunny spot near the fence. This spot is perfect, Grandpa said. It gets lots of sunshine, which plants need to grow. Next, Grandpa showed Leo how to prepare the soil. They used shovels and rakes to dig up the ground and make it soft and ready for planting. Leo helped a little, but he got tired quickly. Grandpa did most of the hard work. Then it was time to choose what to plant. Grandpa took Leo to a garden store. They looked at all kinds of seeds and small plants. Leo chose seeds for sunflowers and carrots. He liked sunflowers because they were tall and bright yellow. He liked carrots because they were yummy to eat. Grandpa helped Leo plant the seeds in his little garden. They made small rows in the soil and carefully put the seeds in the ground. Then they covered the seeds with soil and watered them gently. Now we wait, Grandpa said. And we need to take good care of your garden. Plants need sunshine, water, and care to grow. Leo nodded, but he was still not sure about this gardening thing. He went back to playing his video games. Days passed, and Leo mostly forgot about his garden. He played games, watched TV, and had fun with his toys. Grandpa reminded him a few times to water his garden, but Leo often said, "Later, Grandpa. I'm busy now." Grandpa watered the garden himself sometimes because he knew the little seeds needed water to grow. 1 week later, Grandpa came to Leo and said, "Leo, let's go check on your garden. I think something is happening." Leo was still playing his game, but Grandpa sounded excited. Leo put down his game controller and went outside with Grandpa. They walked to the little garden. Leo looked at the soil. He didn't see anything special. "I don't see anything, Grandpa," Leo said, sounding a bit bored. "Look closer, Leo," Grandpa said, pointing to a small patch of soil. Leo looked closer, and then he saw them. Tiny green sprouts were pushing up through the soil. They were small and delicate, but they were there. "Wow," Leo said, surprised. "Little plants. They are growing." "Yes, they are," Grandpa said, smiling. "These are your sunflower and carrot plants starting to grow, but they need your help to grow big and strong." Grandpa explained to Leo that the plants needed water every day, especially when it was sunny. They also needed to be kept free of weeds, which are other plants that can steal food and water from the plants Leo wanted to grow. Leo looked at the tiny sprouts. He suddenly felt different. These little plants were his. He had planted them, and now they were growing. He felt a little bit proud. "Okay, Grandpa," Leo said. "I will take care of them. I will water them every day." And Leo kept his word. Every day, Leo remembered to water his little garden. He used a small watering can and gently watered the plants. He also helped Grandpa pull out the weeds that were growing around his plants. It wasn't always easy. Sometimes Leo was busy playing or wanted to watch TV, but he remembered his little plants and he knew they needed water. So he made sure to water them, even when he didn't really feel like it. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Leo watched his plants grow bigger and bigger. The sunflower plants grew tall and strong, with big green leaves and thick stems. The carrot plants grew leaves above the ground, and Leo knew that carrots were growing under the soil too. Finally, the sunflowers started to bloom. Big, bright yellow flowers opened up towards the sun. They were so beautiful. Leo was so happy and proud when he saw his sunflowers in full bloom. And then it was time to harvest the carrots. Grandpa showed Leo how to gently pull the carrots out of the ground. They were long and orange and smelled sweet. Leo had grown his own carrots. Leo felt so proud of his garden. He had taken care of it, and now it was giving him beautiful flowers and yummy vegetables. He learned that taking care of something, even when it's a little bit of work, can bring great rewards. Grandpa smiled at Leo. "You see, Leo," Grandpa said, "taking care of a garden is like taking care of anything important. It needs responsibility and effort. But when you are responsible and take good care, you can grow beautiful things and feel very proud of what you have achieved." Leo nodded. He understood what Grandpa meant. He had learned a valuable lesson about responsibility. It wasn't just about watering plants. It was about taking care of anything important in life and seeing it grow and flourish because of your care and effort. From that day on, Leo was not just a boy who loved to play games. He was also a little gardener who knew the importance of responsibility and the joy of watching things grow when you take good care of them. And he continued to take care of his garden, growing flowers and vegetables and learning more about responsibility every day. And he felt very happy and proud to be a responsible little gardener. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. Thank you. Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn listening English with a story. The Honest Little Woodcutter. Once upon a time, in a small village near a thick forest, there lived a poor woodcutter named Ben. Ben was a kind and honest man. Every day, he went into the forest to cut wood. He would sell the wood in the village to earn money for his family. Ben was not rich, but he was happy. He lived a simple life and was always truthful. He believed that honesty was the best way to live. One sunny morning, Ben went to the forest as usual. He walked deep into the woods until he found a big, strong tree. "This tree is perfect," Ben said to himself. "It will give me plenty of wood." Ben started to chop down the tree with his axe. He worked hard, and soon the tree began to fall. Suddenly, as the tree fell, Ben lost his grip on his axe. The axe slipped from his hands and fell into the deep river that ran beside the forest. "Oh no," Ben cried. He rushed to the riverbank and looked into the water. The river was deep and fast-flowing. His axe had sunk to the bottom. Ben was very upset. His axe was old, but it was a good axe. It was also very important to him. Without his axe, he could not cut wood. Without wood, he could not earn money to feed his family. Ben sat down on the riverbank and started to cry. He didn't know what to do. He had lost his only tool. Suddenly, a magical thing happened. The water in the river began to bubble and sparkle. A beautiful fairy rose up from the river. She had long, flowing hair and wings like a butterfly. She looked at Ben with kind eyes. "Why are you crying, woodcutter?" the fairy asked in a gentle voice. Ben looked up, surprised. He had never seen a fairy before. He wiped his tears and said, "Oh, beautiful fairy, I am crying because I have lost my axe. It fell into the river, and I cannot get it back. I am a poor woodcutter, and my axe is my only way to earn money." The fairy listened to Ben's sad story. "Don't worry," the fairy said kindly. "I will help you. I will go into the river and find your axe for you." The fairy disappeared into the river water. After a few moments, she came back up. In her hand, she held a beautiful axe. This axe was made of gold. It shone brightly in the sunlight. "Is this your axe, woodcutter?" the fairy asked, holding out the golden axe to Ben. Ben looked at the golden axe. It was very beautiful and valuable, but it was not his axe. Ben was an honest man. He knew he must tell the truth. "No, beautiful fairy," Ben said. "This is not my axe. My axe was just an old iron axe. It was not made of gold." The fairy smiled when she heard Ben's honest answer. She disappeared into the river again. This time she came back up with a silver axe. This axe was also very beautiful and shone brightly, but it was silver, not gold. "Is this your axe?" the fairy asked again, holding out the silver axe to Ben. Ben looked at the silver axe. It was also very beautiful and valuable, but it was still not his axe. Ben knew he must continue to be honest. "No, beautiful fairy," Ben said again. "This is not my axe either. My axe was just a plain iron axe. It was not made of silver." The fairy smiled even more brightly this time. She disappeared into the river for the third time. When she came back up, she held a simple, old iron axe in her hand. It was rusty and plain, but it was Ben's axe. "Is this your axe, woodcutter?" the fairy asked for the third time, holding out the iron axe. Ben's face lit up with joy when he saw his old axe. "Yes!" Ben cried happily. "This is my axe. Thank you, beautiful fairy. Thank you very much." Ben reached out to take his axe, but the fairy did not give it to him yet. She looked at Ben with a kind and pleased expression. "Woodcutter," the fairy said, "you are a very honest man. You told the truth, even when you had the chance to have a golden or silver axe. Because of your honesty, I will give you all 3 axes, the golden axe, the silver axe, and your own iron axe. Your honesty is a great treasure, and you deserve to be rewarded." Ben was amazed and grateful. He could not believe his ears. The fairy was going to give him all 3 axes. "Oh, thank you, beautiful fairy," Ben said, bowing his head in respect. "You are too kind. I only wanted my own axe back. I never expected to receive such a wonderful gift." The fairy smiled and gave Ben all 3 axes. Ben thanked the fairy again and again. The fairy smiled and disappeared back into the river. Ben returned to his village, carrying all 3 axes, the golden axe, the silver axe, and his old iron axe. He showed the golden and silver axes to his family and told them the story of the honest fairy. The story of the honest woodcutter and the fairy spread quickly throughout the village. Everyone admired Ben for his honesty. They learned that honesty is always the best policy, and that being truthful, even when it is difficult, can bring great rewards. Ben used his old iron axe to cut wood as before. He did not sell the golden and silver axes. He kept them as a reminder of the fairy's gift and the importance of honesty. Ben continued to live a simple and honest life, and he was respected and loved by everyone in the village. And he always remembered the lesson he learned from the river fairy. Honesty is always the best way, and it brings its own rewards. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. Thank you.